Hi, my name is Gary Harmon from Harmon Speaks, and I wanted to talk to you just a moment today about why we're doing this project. Several years ago, my wife and I started our family, and we have 2 children. And our children were born into a world where they had to figure out why their dad looked a little different from everybody else. I was born as a result of amniotic band syndrome. I don't have more than 2 fingers on my left hand, I have no right hand, and I have no feet. Now, my children were fine with that because I was the only dad they knew. They got used to it very quickly, and it was never an issue. As a matter of fact, my younger son used to enjoy tickling the bottom of my prosthetic leg and see if it made me laugh. But when they got older and we would go out into the world, they could see how other people react, and it made them a little bit nervous. And so I never noticed this until I had children. And I started thinking what we need to do is find a way to help people in the world understand that those of us with physical or intellectual differences are still human, still can be a part of the world and not be scary. So I started a 3-pronged approach. I do these videos, I've written 2 books, and I do speaking with organizations who want to learn more about people with disabilities. You can find this on www.harmonspeaks.com. Please get in touch with me. I'd like us to get to know each other a little better. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to Harmon Speaks. We have a great show for you today. I'm sitting here with my new friend Lynn Petr, and I'm going to ask her. She nodded because I got her last name right. I'm proud of that. And she's going to tell us the name of the place, and we're going to talk a little bit about where we are today. Hi, Lynn.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great, and I really appreciate you being on the show.
Hey.
Tell us where we are.
You are at Shang Therapeutic Academy of Riding, or STAR for short.
Okay, great. And that's in?
This particular facility is in Lenore City, but we do have another one that's in South Knoxville.
Okay, so 2 different facilities.
2.
Tell me a little bit about what the purpose of this facility is.
The original purpose for STAR was to marry children and adults that have disabilities with horses to enrich their life and make them a better person and make them able to do things they never thought they could do.
Okay.
But we've morphed a whole lot over the years. We've been in this biz for 34 years now.
Wow.
And so as the need in the community has changed, thus have we changed.
Okay. So what does riding a horse do to make a person a better person?
It totally depends on the individual, and I know that seems like a way to avoid the question, but for some, they need the movement. Every time the horse moves, you're knocked off center, so you're having to constantly bring yourself back to right. For some, it's the constant movement is stimulation. Those on our autism spectrum and some of the ones that are wheelchair users don't get a lot of movement during the day, and so they love having that, and then it frees their hands up to do other things. It also settles their brain to allow them to think about, if I'm giving you directions, now I've satisfied my body needs, now my brain can function and I can listen to the directions. And it's also empowering. I mean, the horses are big. And if you have control over making that horse stop, start, turn, go wherever you want it to go, when some of these people don't have control over anything in their life, it's pretty heady stuff. So we really get some confidence building and you know, it's not all about riding. All of our riders, almost all of our riders, groom and tack their horse too. So they're preparing their horse to ride, because in the real world, you don't just walk up and the horse is ready for you and you get to go for a ride and then you hand it over. You do the work too. If you're going to ride that horse, you're going to care for that horse. And so they learn the sequence of the brushing. They pick the feet, because you do not ride a horse if the hooves haven't been picked out. That's
Right.
just how it is.
Okay.
So they have to help pick out the feet, and then they have to put on the equipment, which is, which pad comes first and exactly where does it sit. And here's the saddle, and that's heavy, so let's let's lift, and get this thing up and over there. And then there's 4 buckles. In this day and age, most people got Velcro on things, and they're not doing buckles. So that fine motor skill stuff, now there's 4 of them. If you want that saddle on your horse, you need to do 4 buckles. So we kind of make it into it's educational through and through, but it's more of this is just the way it is. Just do it.
Okay, great. How do you find your clients who come here?
They find us.
Okay, tell me how.
And we call them participants.
Okay,
clients is a little bit more medical, clinical, and we have an occupational therapist who does occupational therapy out here, and those are clients. But ours are participants. It's usually word of mouth, or any time that we're on any kind of show. Or any kind of media exposure. We actually have quite a long waiting list to get into the program. We're limited by the number of horses we have and the number of volunteers we have. We saw in the class that we were watching, there's 3 volunteers per rider. Well, that's a high ratio of people to participant. And so if we don't have that, we can't take on more participants. So that's a critical element. And with COVID, it's been hard to get our volunteers back engaged and get new volunteers to come out.
If I were a participant, what would I pay to participate?
The participants pay $40 a lesson.
Okay.
The actual cost is $126.
Right.
So as a nonprofit, we make up that balance through our fundraising efforts, through grants, through donations, through people sending donations in, so that the person is paying something, but they're not covering the entire cost. If they have a financial problem, a lot of times we have people with multiple children in the family, or single moms or whatever, then they can apply for a sponsorship, which goes by the free lunch program. That's the parameters we use. If they get a sponsorship, they pay half of that, so they pay $20. But in exchange, they have to give 3 hours of sweat equity back to STAR. Because we're working twice as hard for your child to come, because we've just knocked out $20. The least you could do is sweep the floors, or maybe clean the bathrooms, or make brownies for the concession stand, or whatever. And people love that. They love not being, I don't want to beg for money, or beg for services. Let me work for my services, and it works.
I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Now, do you have age groups that you aim toward?
We, our youngest riders are 4. We don't go below that. There's too much harm that can be done on joints that are not fully formed and heads that aren't strong enough. And then there's really no upper age limit. We have a whole program for those with Alzheimer's. We serve veterans, so those are all adults, men and women. We also have a rehab type program called Changing Strides. We work with adjudicated youth in the Loudoun County system, as well as women's groups that are in drug and alcohol rehab. And then because of COVID, we were asked to start a program for young teens that were exhibiting some real anxiety, depression, even suicidal tendencies, because of their absence from their peer group and being isolated. Counselors had asked us if we had anything, and it was like, we have the whole curriculum. We just have to change the narrative to fit the group that we're working with, and we kind of thought it was going to be a one-off, and we're on our 3rd one now, because it just keeps, and we haven't advertised it yet. It's like if you build it, they will come. And the parents that are of the students that have come through are so thrilled. And the neat part is that these young teens are coming back to volunteer.
Oh, that's
great.
And
that's what you want, because now you're getting out of your own head, and you're getting to where you're helping others, and you're coming to a barn of all places, which is peace and grounding right there. And so we really feel, we're real excited about that Stable Friends program.
I really like that idea. How long have you been doing this?
34 years.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. So our 35th anniversary will be next year, when I got my job. special ed. So I went and I pitched the idea. I had my folder and I pitched it to the heads of special ed in all the surrounding counties, and to a person, they just, that's ridiculous. No liability. No one's going to let you put handicapped kids around horses. Blah, blah, blah. So the last one was Anderson County. So I went and I pitched it, and he's listening, and I thought, well, this is different. And he clicks on his intercom to whoever's on the other side, and he said, I want you to come in and listen to the ridiculous idea this little girl has. And I was going, I know, I'm a college grad, you know. So I just, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And so I slammed my notebook, and my finger went out in his face, and I said, look, this is going to work, and you're going to be sorry you missed the boat because I'm offering it to you. And then I stomped off with all the... you know, just that I could muster. I thought, well, there goes your employment options for Anderson, Blunt, Loudon, Roan, because they all talk. Well, the dude came after me, The man came after me. And he says, I'll give you 1 hour to show what you can do. And it was like, well, okay. And so we set up this meeting. He brings 6 kids out in a van, different disabilities. And I had my horse and my Blessed Mother as my sidewalker, and in 1 hour, so we were able to groom and tack, and we got one child up, and then at the hour he goes, okay, everyone back in the van, and I thought, well, I had my chance, I did what I could do, that's all. And then he's in the van, and they're leaving, and then suddenly the brake lights come on, it just screeches to a halt, and he sticks his head out the window, and he says, be in my office Monday morning. And I was going, oh, okay, for what, as he drives off. Come to find out, one of the autistic kids that he brought out was totally nonverbal. And when he was trying to feed dried up hay to my mare, and I said, well, horses don't like dry grass, they like green grass. And so I did that and had him do it. The kid said, horses don't like dry grass, they like green grass.
That's fantastic.
And the guy just went, because this was a totally nonverbal child, and he said a sentence the whole 9 yards. So he was sitting there going, there might be something to this. So I was hired as the farm lady at Daniel Arthur Special School. I had a closet. Literally, they cleaned out a closet, and I would take 4 students that the teachers picked for me, which of course they picked all the best of the best.
Of course they did. Yeah.
And I would drive them out to the farm on Haw Ridge, and there was a house out there and a hog barn that was full of pig poop, and that's where I spent my first days, was cleaning out the pig poop. And I would come back to the facility, and everybody would go, oh, who's the new teacher, because she's a little odorous. You know? And, seriously, but these kids were, like you said earlier, they were all good kids. They just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were misunderstood. But we did math. We had to build an arena. So it was like, okay, guys, we have to build an arena. So how many boards is it going to take to do this? And they were coming up with the answers. It's like, we have to feed the horses, and this is how this one gets a scoop here, and this one gets half. So what is that? You know, measurement, and it was wonderful. And then in 2 years, Mr. Brody came and he said, I need you to stop doing that because I need you in the classroom. And it just broke my heart, because it was like, but we're doing so good. And he said, I know you're doing good. This is great, but it was a grant, which I didn't know, and it expired. And I need you in the classroom. So I went kicking and screaming, but the classroom was what taught me multiple disabilities. There were kids with colostomies and seizure disorders and amputees and spina bifida and all these different conditions that I would need to deal with here at the barn. And so I was in the classroom for 5 years and loved every minute of it. And I went back to UT and I took my curriculum, and they had a therapeutic recreation department then. 10 years. This is 10 years. I pitched the idea to him, and you know what his response was?
What?
What an entrepreneur. What a forward thinker. Oh my gosh. If you get your master's with us, I'll pay your tuition and give you a stipend.
That's fantastic.
And I said, my mama didn't raise a fool. I'm yours.
I'm yours. I'll do it.
My hand shaking.
That's right. And so my master's thesis project was building a therapeutic riding program in Knoxville, Tennessee, and here we are.
Amazing.
That's fantastic. If I'm watching this and I want to financially help you, how can I do that?
Our website, www.rideatstar.org.
Okay, so then go there and make a donation. Please do.
Yes.
This is
and
a great.
There's wish lists there. There's information there. There's how to volunteer there. We definitely need volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned that some riders we were watching earlier we're preparing for a show. Tell us a little bit about that.
The summer session always culminates in a horse show.
Okay.
And it's a horse show of our students, the ones who are holding their reins and attempting to steer, because there has to be something to judge on.
Sure.
Cuteness doesn't cut it. And so they have...
Sorry, Neil, here it's me.
Darn it.
Yeah. So they show in an equitation class, which it's their riding ability, and then an obstacle course, and then dressage, which is much higher level riding, so the higher level students can do dressage.
Right.
And it's two judges for the
Right.
show, and they're absolutely judged as a regular horse show.
Okay, great. Now, you told me earlier about a student who didn't want a blue ribbon. Tell me that story again, please.
Yeah, it was Precious. She had won a blue ribbon, and the other students, of course, win, red, yellow. And she went up to the person who won the pink ribbon and said, "I really like pink. Would you like to trade?" And so she traded off her blue ribbon for a pink ribbon, and then everyone was happy. And you're going, that's the name of the game. That's what it's all about, is happiness and contentment and doing the best you can do, but it's not about what you win.
That's fantastic. I really like this idea, and I'm grateful that you let us come out and see it and ask you some questions. I hope others will investigate it, and if it's right for them, they'll get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And I hope it continues to grow and flourish. Thank you so much for letting us talk to you today.
Well, no problem. Thanks for asking.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. That's how we grow. And I know Neil and I have grown enough, but we want the show to grow. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.